violation. Little bitch, I'm from New York, yeah. You know where I'm from, nigga.
Okay, yo, this is Let me put my shades on because we're about to start another podcast. I got my boy here. Introduce yourself.
Jose Ramos.
My boy, Jose Ramos. Jose Ramos, I was incarcerated with my man. That's how I met him, and he's a ex-police officer.
That's a fact.
Okay, my man. And we're going to do a little interview with that, but Saydat Entertainment. Let's go. All right. Now, I'm going to start off the first situation, and the first question was saying, how did you get into law enforcement?
Well, my dad was a retired police officer. His dad was a retired police officer, so I've always had law enforcement in my family. It's normal for me to help people, and after I left the military, they were kind of promoting to go to law enforcement because they were giving, preference to people coming out of the military. So I served in the military, did Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and when I came out, I applied for a whole bunch of city jobs looking for pensions and stuff like that, and that was the top choice. It was between that and FD and corrections. I can't do corrections. That wasn't gonna happen. So I chose PD over FD, and it was good look in the beginning.
Hey, all right. I didn't know you went through that journey. We never really talked about that. But I like that.
We talked about a lot of stuff.
So law enforcement, I don't really know too much about law enforcement, but I'm gonna find out today because I feel like we're gonna talk about some things. When you got in there, you worked in the Bronx?
No, I started my career in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. That's like Cupcake City over there. It's real sweet, nice and quiet.
Okay.
More like noise complaints instead of real crime that was happening. So I was there for some time, and then I had an incident. I seem like I've been in the news since I became a police officer. I had an incident where a female police officer shot me, and I survived that. That's a story in itself. That's another podcast.
Get into that.
Nah, that was crazy. So I survived the shooting, and then when I survived the shooting, I transferred to the 40th precinct in South Bronx. So I went from Cupcake City to real action in the South Bronx, and I love the South Bronx. I still love the South Bronx. That's
okay.
Bronx is good.
So I take it the South Bronx was a different journey for you because it was the hood?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, they put them in the hood. That's what I wanted to get to.
No, they didn't. I put me in the hood. I wanted to be where I could be around. Not that I wanted to be around my people who actually needed law enforcement, as opposed to being in the Upper West Side where, that's just a whole different world. But South Bronx is like my type of people. I enjoy dealing with people like that who need help. So.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. So. Yeah. I had some run-in with the law. I had some run-ins.
Me too.
Sometimes I run into cops that look like they really want to help people.
Okay.
Sometimes I run into cops that look like they really want to help themselves. You got into this to really help people.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, when you say that, right? Okay. In the area that you was at, I know it's very difficult with some of the people that we deal with amongst our own race. They make it hard to help them sometimes.
Quite often.
I can say that because I've been around this whole situation.
Right.
So, in that field of the Bronx where you was working law enforcement, give me some stories about some situations that you went through that made it difficult for you helping your own people.
Well, I mean, for good reason. In some instances, people have issues with the police. They've been abused for a lot. They've been mistreated. So me coming out to talk to someone right off the bat, they don't want to hear what I got to say. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, a lot of people say white officers are racist, right? But sometimes the worst officers are black and Hispanic because from my experience, sometimes black and Hispanic officers feel they have something to prove, that they're not for the home team. So they're going to go extra hard. Meanwhile, the white officer will be more understanding, like, all right, the black or Hispanic officer's like, he's on go. He's like, nah, you ain't getting nothing. I gotta really go hard on you. So when I speak to someone, on face value, they don't like the police. So I have spoken to people and they tell me, like my first day in patrol in the South Bronx, I went to a block party or something. I know it was a lot of people hanging out in the street. The sergeant told me, we gotta clear the block. Tell these guys to get off the corner, we're closing it down. So I went up there thinking I'm in uniform in the Upper West Side, they respect it. I come to the guy and say, bro, we need to clear the block. He said, excuse me, suck my dick, bro, get out of my face. I looked around like, who this dude talking to? He was talking to me. I was like, nah, impossible. I'm like, what? He goes, it's a free country. Get the fuck out of my face. Just like that. When you have that kind of interaction, it's because we start off as children, right? You notice some people in the Bronx, the mother's already telling their kids don't talk to the cops. Or you see a kid see a cop and he's like, oh, look, the police officer. No, stay away from him. So in their mind already, the cop is the bad guy when he's really not. So as that kid gets older, he has a kid. What do you think he's telling his kids? So everybody's already got this.
It's passed down to
It's already
generation.
don't like the cops. But I sell sand at the beach. I always win. So if I meet somebody, they might start off telling me whatever they tell me. By the time it's over, we friends, we cool. I've been to domestic violence cases. I've been to assaults, whatever. At the end of the day, we respect each other. It's an understanding. I think that's the problem now. A lot of people don't have respect for law enforcement, and that's because law enforcement doesn't have respect for them. So it's kind of too late in the game if one side is already against you when you first start. And that happens a lot. But I've been told a lot of things by people in the street. They don't want to hear what you got to say. And you're stopping people who are impoverished. It's an impoverished area. You're giving somebody a ticket that you know they cannot pay, right? And the reason why you're giving them a ticket is so that they'll have a warrant. It's a moneymaker. This is, this guy can't pay the ticket. Tell him to put the dog on the leash. No, instead you just give him the ticket. Now he's going to have a warrant in 30 days. And this is a cycle that just continues. So. And it's different policing in different parts of the city. In the Upper West Side, they won't give you a ticket for what they'll give you a ticket in the South Bronx.
See, that was my next question to you. My next question to you was this. So you've worked in an area like the Upper West Side, and then you worked in where it was South Bronx, more poverty and shit like that going on. Now, I don't know if I'm correct about this, but in the Upper West Side where you worked at, was it more like a interracial thing? Was it more white people? Did you find yourself being like one of the only black guys there, or was it normal just like it was in the South Bronx?
Well, in the Upper West Side, mostly white.
Okay, that's what I was getting.
The population, the people who live in the community, all white. Very few who are not white.
What about the police force that you worked with? Was they mostly whites, or were they the same mix as the same?
No, mostly white in the Upper West Side. Okay. But you go to South Bronx, it's like Latino and black.
Now, is it safe? Now, when you was in the precinct in the Upper West Side, did you experience any racism in that precinct?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, when I first came on, that was 1993. So you had a lot of racism from to where they would assign you, to how they treated you, who they put you to work with. I got in the car, when I first got in the police car, the guy tells me, don't touch the radio. He took the battery off the bottom of the radio, so it didn't even work. And he gave me the top part. So you don't touch the radio. I don't need you to do nothing. But if he had trained a white rookie officer, he would let the rookie officer learn how to practice codes or what have you. So there was definitely racism involved. But in retrospect, I've also dealt with white officers who went out of their way to show me the job. So it was a guy named Scott Durier. This is an old, he's been retired, I'm sure. I was a rookie, and he wouldn't let me not learn the job. He taught me step by step along the way. He was a white officer. And he was one of the few people who made me realize, like, when it comes to working, color don't matter. He taught me that. So shout out to Scott. I don't know if he's even alive anymore, but yeah, there's racism involved though.
Okay, now, I'm listening to you talk, and I'm hearing you say, the experience from one place to another. Now, is it safe to say that when you were in the Upper East Side?
Upper West Side.
Upper West Side, you transitioned over there because of the uncomfortableness that they gave you over there, or was it just something that happened when you got shot? That's why you went over there, or did you just say, I want to get the fuck up out of here because you felt like you was out of place?
Well, initially I went to the Upper West Side because I finished in the top 3% of the police academy. And when you do that, you finish with a gold braid, and you get to pick where you want to go.
So you were qualified.
So yeah, well, overqualified.
Overqualified. And you went somewhere where you were overqualified, and they treated you like, don't touch the radio.
Right.
Okay, let's go. So now what I'm asking you is,
say that, as you would say.
Say that.
So they put me in the Upper West Side as if that was a bonus, right? I went to a nice place to work. It's like a D house. They go by letters. A house is the busy house. B house is less busy. C house, less busy. D house, go to sleep.
Okay.
So I'm in D house. It was quiet. Then the shooting happened. And I've always been somebody who's been in the street. So for me, I was out of place being in the Upper West Side. I was wasting my time, not wasting my talent. I know how to speak to people. I know how to deal with people. So I had a choice to pick, and I chose the South Bronx because I knew that that's where I would be useful. People would need me to be there, so that's why I chose it. I could have chose to stay in the 20th. You know, the girl who shot me was in the 20th with me. She eventually went to prison or something for a few minutes and came right out. You know, but that's neither here nor there. I could have went right back to the 20th precinct.
Okay, so check this out. Let me ask you this. I spoke to people that have a little bit of knowledge about law enforcement. Now, when you're a rookie, right, in the city, you know the ones that walk on the beat directing traffic? Is it true that they got to do that until they serve a certain amount of tickets up enough to get a car?
No.
I heard something like that.
No, that's not true. I mean, there's
Like,
no.
do they got to
there's no,
set a quota to graduate to another level?
No,
or
not
it's
true.
nothing
at
like
all.
that?
Not at all. I mean, there are. The city will say there's no quotas. That's a lie. There's quotas, right? So let's keep it a stack. There's quotas, tickets. There's keep it a buck. There's quotas with arrest.
So what are the quotas for?
Like, let's just say, depending on what command you're in, what precinct you're in, that's what they're going to tell you the number is. It's like paying your rent. You know, you want a day off, you pay your rent. You got to do what you got to do every month. So for argument's sake, I was in the 20th precinct, and quota was like 20 parkers and 5 movers and 2 C summonses. These are different kind of summonses, right? But when I got to the South Bronx, where they're more impoverished people, the quota was higher, which makes no sense. Now it was 30, 10, and 2, 30, 10, and 5. So you find that towards the end of every month, you'll see police officers writing more summonses because they haven't caught up to the number they're trying to reach. And they'll find a way to make a summons that's not a summons, they'll make it a summons. Disorderly conduct, it's like just a charge. Now, disorderly conduct could be anything. They can get you for being, I felt you was acting in a tumultuous way. That's all judgmental. I could see you and say, yo, bro, come here. And you say, what? Well, come here, bro. Don't give me that lip, blah, blah, blah. And what are you going to do after? Actually, you're going to react after a while like, yo, why you fucking with me? Oh, yeah, you being disorderly. Boom, you got your C summons right there, right? Now it's up to you to go to court and beat it. But actually, you should never been going to court to start with. This is just a numbers game.
Right.
So that's where the quotas come in. But no, as far as if you're on foot patrol, you don't have to get a certain amount of summonses to get on into a car. It might be who you like, who likes you. Females, female rookies usually drive the sergeant all day. If they're pretty, they definitely drive the sergeant.
Oh, so it ain't about what you know, it's about who you know.
Or who you know.
I know who you know.
Yeah.
Or it's about who you know. You know, it's like who you connected to the closest.
Who likes you.
Okay.
Right? You look good, female, you driving the sergeant usually.
So if you don't reach your quota, what, you just don't get the privileges of what you can get with the quota?
No, I mean, it's like if you are doing the numbers they're asking for, obviously they're going to treat you better. You want a day or you need a vacation day or something like that, you're going to get it. Or when a car does become available, they're going to put you in it first.
Oh,
if you're not
all right, I got
summonses,
you.
then you're going to be walking a lot.
So if you ain't putting no work in for the force, you're not gonna be first on line for the treats.
That's a fact.
All right, I got you.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting a better understanding. That's why I need to sit down and talk to you to know what's going on.
Right.
So all right, now I'm gonna say this because we was talking about how, like, you know, in the environment of the Bronx, most of the colored officers and the certain cultures is just giving the cultures out there a hard time. We can't get along. I get it, but this is what's going on in my eyes. Us as people, we understand us. We know we gotta be hard on us, bro. You gotta understand, because we do feel. I know that power is a lot. Power mean it could be corrupt. It just kills people sometimes. It just it ruins the character and everything. But I also know that fed upness. I don't know if that's a word, but when you're fed up and you're just tired, we all come from this tired culture where we just tired, bro.
Yeah,
Even police, if they colored, they got uncles and cousins. They got connections to where we at. That's probably in there. You know, I spoke to officers that be like, yeah, my nephew, he got locked up for this. Correctional officers, you know, so they connected to us, so they understand when we get in there. I guess it just takes certain right-minded people to know that position takes patience, and it takes a lot, bro, to even have a position like that. Cause
it's not an easy job, but at the same time, I mean, you're putting a lot of power in somebody's hands that, like you said, they human like you human. They can tolerate but so much. People tell you shut the fuck up a few times. Ain't gonna be too many more motherfuckers over here. Like, yo, stop. They just keep getting at you, calling you a sellout or what have you. After a while, you will get some people who, they become stereotypical as minorities, who look at our own and like, yo, look at this dude. This dude's a lame. You saying that because you've dealt with so many of your own kind who are doing wrong that now you're assuming everybody's that same way. It's stereotypical too. So you stop certain people on the look, on their appearance, even though they're your own kind, because you starting to realize my own kind, this is what they doing, and they start doing it that way. So
okay. So check this out. Now my next question. This is gonna be this is the one that I asked you this question because of where I met you at. Okay. We was in dark grounds, bro. And I need to ask you, how did you get where I met you at, which is in prison? How did you get locked up, man?
How did I get locked up?
What happened in that situation that got that situation?
All right. So before the situation, what got me into it? What got me to where we met?
Yes.
All right. So I was working in the South Bronx, 40th Precinct. I owned a couple of barbershops. Right off the bat, you're not supposed to own businesses in the precinct that you work in, but I owned 2 barbershops in the precinct. The reason why I bought the barbershops real quick was because I took my son for a haircut one day, and the shop we was in, my son was sitting in a bench waiting for a haircut, and the guy next to us had a laptop, and the laptop he was playing porno. I didn't notice. My son spots everything, so he's hearing moaning while we waiting for the cut. I'm like sitting there, my son elbowing me like, Dad, what's that noise? So I look over there, and this dude got a full-fledged porno going on his laptop. So I said, oh, that's it.
It ain't funny, but that's crazy.
Nah, it had me tight. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I was
Go ahead, man.
So I said, all right, I got my son, we left. We got in the car, my oldest son, his name is Jose Jr. He said, Dad, I got a question. Why do we always come to this barbershop and then leave it to go to another barbershop? Like, why did we just go to one? And I used to go to the first barbershop because I liked the way the barber treated me. He wasn't a really good barber, but he had good conversation. He treated me with respect. Then I'd go somewhere and clean up the haircut because, I was like, I really got to clean this up. So, but my son was like, well, Dad, you always talking about something ain't right. You should fix it and don't complain. I said, that's a fact. That's true. So I decided to back up my words. I went back to the barbershop and I told the guy, yo, I'll buy this shop, but it won't be run like this. I won't let this happen no more. I won't let people do what they're doing. So I bought the shop. And then the second shop was just an opportunity because these guys owed money on it. I took that shop, so I had 2 shops. But anyway, so this is how the problem started. It was where we met. I had the 2 barbershops. I'm not gonna mention names of snitches, right? Because I don't wanna mess up your podcast, but there's a couple of guys who are straight snitches and it's known already. So one of these guys comes to me and he says, listen, I wanna open a barbershop, but my credit ain't like yours. Could you get a shop, put it in your name and let me have it, and you'll be the owner, but it's really me. The deal we had was I would get the shop, rent the lease, and let him have his barbershop, but he would have to pay me for opening it, right? I would give him $12,500, which ain't a lot now, but back then that was some bread. And all I asked for is you to double it and give me 25 back.
Right.
So, it's business. So he took the shop. I mean, I got the lease for him. He took the shop, but he kept having dice games, drinking, smoking in there, kept getting in trouble. The landlord calls me and said, listen, the shop's in your name. I'm gonna end the lease if you keep going. He kept doing it. Long story short, the landlord stopped the lease. I called the guy. I said, listen, you don't have the shop no more. The guy already took the lease from me because you kept having dice games in here and having guys hang out. That doesn't negate the fact he owed me 25 stacks because we already agreed to this, right? I gave you the 12 and a half. Right?
Yes, yeah.
Right. So I'm not crazy. So I gave him the 12 and a half, which at the time was different than 12 and a half now. 12 and a half ain't nothing now. But back then, 12 and a half was 12 and a half. It was principle, which I got to stop living on. But anyway, I gave him the 12 and a half. He got kicked out. The lease went dead. Now he's like, I'm like, yo, where's my 25? He's like, nah, shop never opened. I was like, that ain't my problem, right? So back then I wasn't as rational as you see me. Like you met me, I'm always, back then I was on something else.
You was on go time?
I especially 25 stacks. Like, yo, like I need that. So how we gonna do this? And he went from owing me to 25, he'd come and give me a laptop, because he was a booster. He had a credit card scandal going or whatever it was. And I didn't really care. I said, yo, I need my 25. So he come to me with a new laptop. Yo, take this. Oh, thank you. You still owe me 25 stacks though. Like that don't take off the 25.
Right. You on your business
So
shit. You ain't playing.
He felt pressured. I kept showing up in places he didn't expect me to show up. I was putting the pressure on him, and he went from.
You was on that nigga hill for that.
No, I'm saying you owe me this.
You was on that motherfucker back where the street came out of you.
No, I felt some sort
You
of
was a
way.
cop in the daytime and a hood nigga in the night. You was chasing niggas down for that.
I was hood day and night. So I was like, yo, my thing was, I put the pressure on him, whatever. He went from Rambo to Bambi, right? He went from tough guy to telling. So he got in trouble. He got caught with his credit card scam. The first thing he did, but this cop I know, he doing this, he doing that. He told, his name is known. Everybody in the street know he's a rat. He's a rat. Funny thing is, like, dudes tell him he's a rat, but he's still out in the street. He's in Harlem now, but I don't deal with him. The lion don't care what the rabbit thinks. I leave him alone. He went and got in trouble, got arrested, and put my name in the mix because he was trying to lower his problem.
Right.
And that's how it started. He started wearing a wire, putting a camera on his car when I'm talking to him, doing all type of funny shit.
But what was the what he had you on, like on the camera, he had you extorting him?
No. What he would do is, since he owed me the money, he said, I can't get the money to you, but I gotta hustle to come with me, I'll get you the money. So I was like, all right, I ain't got it. As long as I ain't got to put hands on nobody, we good money. I'll escort you and you just give me my money. So we go one place. Oh, I got a hotel room. My man's with this shorty I know got her man there. He said he got bread in the hotel room. She's taking him out to dinner. She told me where the bread's at. Just drive me to the hotel. I drive him to the hotel, wait for him to come out. He comes out. All right, no problem. He went in the room, got his money. I don't care how you do it. Just give me my money. But all the while,
you booked him?
This is him playing games. I don't know what, but this is him using me to get out of the trouble he's in. So that's what happened. After a while, he's wearing wires. He's doing all this. And I had another guy who was the manager of my shop. He also got caught with a gun. So it's crazy. You're not gonna believe this, but you know how I give it up. If we good, we good. So this dude was the manager of my barbershop. He comes to me one night. Yo, my girl threw me out. He's crying. I said, I tell you what, here's the keys to my apartment. You can stay at my place. But I ain't got no way of moving around. Here's the keys to my truck. You can take my truck. I gave him everything. He got in trouble. What does he do? He takes pictures of my police uniforms in my apartment and tells PD that, yo, this dude's giving me uniforms to commit crimes, which I wasn't. I could keep it real and tell you if I wasn't.
Right.
But this is what happened. Guys, they get in trouble, and they'll do anything to get out of trouble. And then what they'll do is they'll rat you out. I'm a bigger fish than he is, right? Because looking, PD is thinking, what's better, to catch a cop or catch this common criminal that's going to get caught every day anyway?
Right.
So he pulls me under the bus, and that's how it is. I'm in there because these guys are rats, and that's cool if that's what you do. Now, when I was arrested, I was given the opportunity to tell on everybody, and all I know is guys from the street. That's all I do is hang out with guys from the street.
Right.
So when I get arrested, they pull me up and tell me, listen, we could get you home right now. Time served. It's 6 months of hell that you just went through at Rikers, which was crazy. We'll let you go home a couple of weeks if you just give us some names. You're wasting your time. I don't do that, right? So they're like, all right, we'll show you the pictures and point to them, and you just nod your head and tell. No, I'm not going to do that either. So guys in the street, they recognize it. They still out there. If they still out there, that means I'm not talking about them. I got sentenced to 15 years. All those guys who I know in the street respected it because they was like, he just took the hit when all he had to do was say, I could have did Oprah. This guy did this. This guy did that. This guy, I don't do that. So I don't have to walk looking over my shoulder. Even now, I'm in the Bronx. I don't worry about nothing because nobody could say I told on them or I did something wrong or violated, for me, a code. You know, so that's just, you got guys who tell just for minor stuff. I mean, they ain't even like they facing a death sentence, but they'll tell on you. So, you know, there's no honor among thieves, as they say. I guess that's a fact.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Okay, now, you mentioned Rikers. That's where you was at?
I started off at the boat in the Bronx.
Oh, you was on the boat.
That was a nightmare. And they took me from there and sent me to Rikers. I was on another nightmare. So it was nightmare after nightmare, and then
why you say it was a nightmare? What was what just the new experience of being in prison, or you went through experiences in that motherfucker?
Both, right? Both. When you take somebody's freedom away, it's hard. Take me away from my kids. That's all I cared about. But when you go into a place where you public enemy number one, COs don't like me because they don't like cops. COs don't like cops. I don't know why. Just take the test. Like, it's not my fault. You chose CO. Like, but they don't like cops. All right. Then you got prisoners who don't like me because they're like, used to be a cop.
Right.
That's lame. Right. Then you got staff who don't like me because they think I feel like I'm arrogant because I'm walking around like I'm not a regular prisoner, even though I am. I'm wearing orange. I'm a prisoner. So everywhere I go is opposition. I write better than everyone there. I speak better than everyone there. I'm a threat to them because they violate you in every way they can on Rikers Island, but you can't violate me because I speak better than you and I write better than you. And I got people, my kids will call everywhere. They'll call everywhere. They'll run that phone out and know your name. So they're like, yo, this guy, he sucks because he come in here, we can't violate like we used to because he ain't gonna throw a fit. He ain't gonna act up. He gonna beat us with our own game. He gonna write better than us.
You got that pen game. The pen is
sick.
mightier than the sword.
This pen is sick. So they don't like it, right? Then you got my kids calling every hour on the hour, saying your name. You're gonna be more popular than a Kardashian by the time we finish because we're gonna keep calling you. We're gonna keep calling until you stop. And this is why, they don't like me.
Okay, well, I get that. That's
right. And then
that makes sense.
They also put me in 23-hour lockdown, which, by the way, solitary confinement is inhumane, and I'm glad that this has been fought. I'm into prison reform, by the way, and 23-hour lockdown is inhumane. You're making people animals when they come out of that. So I was in a 23-hour lockdown in this place called the Tombs. Not a good place to be either. I would not recommend you go there. Not a vacation spot, Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this because we're on that topic. And I did say in there that I was going to make a position for myself to speak on stuff that happens in prison. Okay?
Yes.
Now, I need some light on this one because I'm going to talk for a few minutes. Prison is definitely, in Rikers Island, is different than prison because in Rikers, they knew who you was. Prison, them crackers don't give a fuck who you is. Okay? Racism is at its highest in there. When it comes to authority and abusing your power, it's there at the maximum degree. Upstate prison.
I concur.
And the things that are going on in that prison, even in 23-hour lock-in, I've been there, I firsthand, I'm not talking through some shit somebody told me. They will destroy you in there. That place is made to destroy men. That's not a correctional facility. And if anybody is watching this podcast and you got somebody in prison, it is very, very important for you to stay in contact with your family members because them police up there, they know when a person they don't have nobody outside to contact them, and they take advantage of that. They'll leave them dead in there. The less people he have to speak to him and deal with him in jail, is the less contact he have. So they will finish him first. The people who got contacted people and they show that people care about them, they're the people in jail that the police kind of worry about. So if you got family members in prison, man, look out for them dudes because it's tough in there. So that's all I'm gonna throw on about that part. Now,
that's very important. And my children were like so supportive of me that if anything was to happen to me, they would know. And I think that made a big difference. So I'm so blessed to have these kids of mine that never let me go, never say out of sight, out of mind. Never that with my kids. My kids were with me the whole time. So when I said I had a problem, we had a problem. And I couldn't find better kids, better teammates than my kids. So like Jose Jr., Nicole's my heart, and Justin, like that was amazing how they supported me. They never turned their back on me. So that helped me a lot through that time. And you were right, parents. As a parent, I know, but if you have anyone in prison, it doesn't hurt you to send a letter. If they see mail coming in, that's important. They see them on the phone, that's important. You know, because you've been there. You know guys fake like they're on the phone. They'll get on that phone and talk to the operator, act like they're calling somebody, but they're doing that just so they could look like they're calling somebody. Don't let them do that. Be there. Let them talk to you, even if it's for a minute.
Bro.
Accept the call and be like, all right, we good. because it changes the way the officers treat you. Yeah.
I tell a person, from my experience, out here on the streets, we don't know how important a can of tuna fish is because it ain't important.
Right.
A can of tuna fish ain't important or not. Not even a bum care about a can of tuna fish, but that shit is so important in jail. A can of tuna fish in jail is very important. You tell a man you send him a package of tuna fish and you don't send it, he might get killed.
Yeah.
That's how it is in prison.
I've learned to cherish everything I have. So since I've been released, I cherish everything. Everything. Bottle of water, can of tuna fish, soup. I don't take nothing for granted. I'm so blessed that I say everything is important. But before I went in, I was like, what's a soup? What's this? What's that? Everything now. I don't wish prison on nobody.
Me neither.
But I tell you what, it made me better. It made me stronger because there's nothing I can't defeat. There's nothing I can't beat right now. There's nothing. I don't believe anything could beat me. And that's because I've been what I feel like is the toughest opposition. And I walked that walk. I didn't hide in PC. You saw me, I was with you. So what could be harder? What could be hard for me out here? This is a walk in the park. I've already done it. I've been in yards where everybody hate me. You saw me in a place where you was looking at me like, yo, who is this dude? Nobody talk to him. So if I could make it through that, who out here gonna do something to me that worries me? I don't worry. This is easy from here on in. And when people leave prison, they feel like they're against the odds. You can't think that way. You come out of prison, you're an asset now. You have some knowledge that other people don't have. Me and you are talking about something people don't know about who haven't been to prison. That makes me an expert at prison. I got to make that an asset. I got to help the youth of today and tell them how to stay out of prison. Excuse me. I've got to tell guys who are coming out, you can evolve from this. This is not the end. I've done it. I just bought a house. I bought the car that you sold me. You came out of prison and sold me a car. I bought a house. I'm traveling. So don't come out of prison and tell me you can't do it. If you want it, you can do it.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I can't stand when people do that. Make the excuse, I got a felony. I got 6 felonies. I work at a law firm. You saw me, I met you. You sold me a car. You helped me out. Look at you. You work in a podcast. You're doing so much. You got a club. I don't mean to plug your club, but you got the club going. And don't tell me I can't do something. I'll do it twice, and that's how I feel. So.
Well, I watched you do something that I didn't think could be done. So.
What?
I watched you do something that I didn't think could be done. I watched you sit around niggas as an ex-police officer and population around the big homies.
Yeah.
And just chill out with me, enjoying aloe bills and shit. We was just chilling. And I thought that was like different from me. Because, usually, like you said, the information, it is, you know what type of information it is with a cop going in jail and all that. It's viewed a certain way. But I'm different, so I see the potential in people. I think I have a gift of seeing the potential in people outside of what other people see. Right. I look into what it really is opposed to what you think it is. You know what I'm saying? I try to do that. I try my best to stay on that path. But when I met you where I met you, I was kind of surprised, but you became like somebody that I was like, yo, I'm interested. That shit was cool, what you told me. It was crazy. I never thought I'd hear no shit like that, but you learn. What they used as terms, I was today years old when I heard this.
Today years.
I was today years old when I heard this. This guy is, So.
Yeah, no, it was always interesting talking to you because you were different than most of the guys there. It was like, I made sure I stopped and talked, right? Because that's another thing. When you're in prison, all you're hearing is jail talk, right? Everybody's saying you heard, and they're repeating the same thing.
Beloved,
don't do that. So they're saying things, they're repeating the same conversation over and over again. But you and you brought a different kind of conversation. It was not say more intelligent, but it was like more creative. We could talk about things other than jail.
Right.
And that's why you see guys on the phone, fiending to get on the phone, because that phone is there outside. You touching somebody from outside. And that's why a lot of guys become addicted to getting on that phone, because you're so sick of hearing jail talk. Why would a guy tell me how the cells are set up at another facility? I don't care. Like, I never understood that. No, I'm just saying.
This is the shit he used to say that used to make me crack up.
Because I used to tell guys, why you just told, like, I used to tell the guys, yo, that's 20 seconds of my life I'm never getting back. You just told me how Sing Sing cells are set up. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care how the cells are set up at Sing Sing. I don't care how the visit room look. Why the vending machine have more of this and that. Why you did that? Like, you just took. I can't get that time back.
Well, I honestly, I think the reason I try to do shit from perspective.
Okay.
So at different perspectives, people see different things. Some people don't know nothing but prison.
Okay, but I don't want to know.
I know they don't know. They just tell you their story.
Yeah.
They think you want to know because it sounds exciting like a motherfucker to them.
No, so you go up the stairs and to the right is the bathroom. Bro, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about the bathroom?
Something happened with my headphones. I can't hear myself.
Oh.
I hear something.
No, then it's, yo, you know this guy, you know that guy? I'm like,
You can hear me still?
I can still hear you.
All
Like,
right.
we doing a roll call on who you know. I don't care who you know. Like, that's not gonna help me right now. And this is what we doing. So when I speak to you back then, it was always like, yeah, I got the car thing going. Oh, that's interesting. Let me see. And you predicted what you would do. You knew what you was gonna do when you came out.
Yeah.
And I did too.
That's a
So
fact.
we were both sitting there, and while a lot of guys turn into G.I. Joe in there and they make superhero stories about how they was the man on the block, nah, you was never the man. Because if you was the man, you wouldn't be arguing over a pack of cigarettes right now, right? But me and you used to have real talk and used to be like, yeah, so I got this going and I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it was real. Because I've heard guys tell me, yo, I got a helicopter that lands on my apartment building in the... Shut up, right? It's not happening. But you were talking, I was like, no, that's believable. That happens. And you'd show me a picture. Oh, yeah, I like that. I got to get one of those. Me and you were planning out here before we came out here.
That's
So
a fact.
you were never there. When I saw you, you were never in prison. You were there, but you was always thinking out here.
Yeah.
And I was the same way. So when I was in there and the guys just talking to me, I'm just visiting. This is just a stop. This is a time of not confinement, but refinement for me. All I'm doing is sharpening myself so when I get out of here, I hit the ground running. And you did the same thing. So that was something I admired when I talked to you. I'm like, I know he's not going to tell me some dumb shit about the food being better at Sing Sing than it is at Clinton, when I don't care about either one of them.
I will say this. I'll say this. The place that me and you was at, a lot of them, like 75% of that jail is not come home. So they don't got a story to tell, really. Because I was talking to a dude, and I got kind of familiar with him. He was cool. He was in school with me. And he was a very humble dude. He had 130 years.
Jeez.
And I was like, I didn't even know what else to talk to that man about. Like, it got to the point where I got stuck. I'm sitting here planning for next year, and he's just looking at me. And I'm like, yo, one day I just was like, so what you gonna do when you And he just was like, bro.
There ain't no yeah, it's over.
So
Lights out.
he gonna tell you about what the next jail look like and how the bathroom look and the vending machine, what it got in there.
I don't know.
Because, some people, life got so many different doors, bro.
I get it, but I've met guys who got a lot of time and they don't do that. And I'd rather talk to them about it.
They
I
probably
still keep
been
up
somewhere
with it.
though. That you probably met guys that had been in, like, some guys had a journey, like was somewhere, and then they got knocked down to this. So they could tell you some shit that they've been through. Some guys never had nothing, and go in there with nothing, and gonna stay there with nothing, and they got nothing to talk about. And it's like there's so many doors on a person's life story. You could tell who a person is by just sitting in front. But my father used to tell me, you give a motherfucker time, they're going to tell you who they is without telling you. It's as simple as that.
Just showing themselves.
Yeah, so that whole people thing, when I deal with people how they come. That's why I don't have a lot of friends when I leave out of jail. I don't have no friends. I don't even give niggas my number.
Okay.
I knew that you know what I'm saying? I knew. Because you said, I seen my vision before I seen it. I seen it. I seen it. You understand what I'm saying? So, and there's just certain things I just don't see. But that whole journey in prison, I'm not going to push too. How much more time we got? Where we at? Okay. My whole journey with prison is this. I try to tell anybody this. And I learned that in any bad situation, there's something good in it. Just like, there's no such thing as a bad situation with good, even death. Something gonna come out of that, and you're gonna get something out of that that's gonna benefit you in life. I got to prison, and I go into this place where most people think like, they snatched me away from my family, life is over, boom, boom. But what it did for me, if it gives you, like, say if you got 5 years and it gives you another opportunity at life, to have that ending, that black hole life, like a person that doesn't have a light at the end of their tunnel, you still got a chance to come home. because you got 5 years.
Right.
Okay? So you shouldn't be thinking like these dudes over here is thinking, okay? And if you got a chance to come home, you got to utilize everything in that bad situation. Now, what I did was I looked at it like I worked out. The first time I was in jail, I remember I worked out and I got real big. And I came home and I got a response from people that I don't think I would have ever got if prison didn't visit me. Like I actually took time to make myself look like a beast. And when I came home, I didn't have to put a Versace sweater on. I could put a wife beat on, and they was looking past the Versace sweaters to look at the work that I put in jail. My body was looking crazy. So I'm just saying, the mind, I read books. I never really was into books. Prison forced me, the box, 23-hour lock-in, forced me to pick up the Bible. I never read the Bible, bro. I read it there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying they got to put so much oomph on it. They could turn the flame down a little bit on how they deal with niggas in there. But some of that space in there, you know, if you utilize it, I mean, I can't say it's for anybody. But whatever they try to do to you, if you don't utilize what God gives you good. He gives you ways to make shit work for you. Experiences, your mother dying, it might make you a stronger person in life. It might make you less reliable on females and shit. You just don't know what the message is. So my point is this. When you got situations that you think is bad, there's always good in certain things. You just got to look at it. We didn't eat seasoning. We came home looking good. You had a glow on you. You had a look on you that females could spot from any nigga that's been in the street for 10 years. Do you still got the glow? I don't got the eyes. We was glowing together.
I got the glow.
Right, we was glowing together. So, I mean, in the end of the day, that you get that stuff. And some people will never get that.
Yeah.
Because they will never take the time out. We would force that time out. That's what prison is.
I used it. I gained a lot
Prison
from
sits
it.
your ass down.
My walk changed because prior to going into prison, I really thought I was the reason for everything happening. It was me. I did it. It was me. Like nobody loved me more than me, right? So I'm like, I did this. I did this. I did it. I had to come to the realization that, you know, now I'm not a preacher, but I recognize I'm a child of my Father. Like my Lord and Savior saved me. Without Him, I'm nothing. And every time I get transferred to another facility, it's hard. When you move from one facility to another, it's like picking up everything and throwing it in a bag. Yeah. And it was very stressful to me. That was the most stressful thing, not the fighting with guys, not guys talking about whoop, whoop, hands up. That stuff don't matter to me, right? But what really stressed me out was transferring from one facility to another, getting on the bus, your stuff getting thrown around, everything getting stolen. You got to start all over, guys testing you. That stressed me out, but I got through that with Christ. That I go in my cell and I'd be like, all right, I'm not alone. And that's what got me through it. If not for prison, I'd still be walking around here thinking I'm the reason for everything that happens. I'm the guy. I'm that guy. No, I'm not that guy. Now I'm glad I was able to recognize that. You have to humble yourself. Because if you don't, you will be humbled. You're going to learn the hard way. You're just going to be an idiot. You're going to walk around still thinking you're something you're not. But I still reach out to guys in prison who we were with. Like I tell you about El Dorado guys. I know they're doing a lot of time, and I don't forget where I come from. So even though I evolved from it, that doesn't mean I wasn't where I was. I reach out to the guys. I have emails set up with them. I have them calling the firm that I work at. Like, I let them know, I didn't forget you. Your family might have forgot you, but I won't forget you. If you're about doing something positive, I'm here for you. I'm going to tell you about a program I got. Anyway, I send them books. I answer the phone. That's more important than anything. I answer the phone. I send them an email. They're not forgotten. So I don't care if they got 100 years or they got 2 years. I didn't forget you. We've been together there.
If this situation didn't happen, we would, like, say if you would have never got into that situation with that dude, I just want you to understand that we would have never met, right?
Right. So that was
you would have never understood that side of things until you really experienced it. Because it's one thing to put a nigga in jail, but now as being a cop, like if you was to go back into being a cop, say if you was to be a cop again, would it make you think further into how you deal with people opposed to how you used to deal with people before?
No, not me.
You would still be the same?
I'll be the same
way?
Because when I was a police officer, I treated people with such respect. Like that, for me, I felt like I was for the people. Like I never saw somebody, right now, I'm home. Nobody could walk up to me and say, yo, this guy disrespected me back in the days. Or this dude smacked me. No, I never did it. I was always, when I go to deal with people in the street, I treated them like I wanted to be treated. because I was them. So it wasn't like, I would change the way I do it. I wouldn't change nothing. I did everything the way I was supposed to do. So I don't regret that. I just want to, before I forget, I can't forget because it's such an important part of my return to society. I want to mention the place that gave me an opportunity that while I was in there, I worked in the law library to do my appeal, right? And I was represented by a company called CAL, the Center for Appellate Litigation. Right? And I always thought lawyers were full of crap, right? They're just going to push the papers. Nope, you don't get out. That's it. They weren't like that. They really went hard with my appeal and got a reversal. Like I was let go early. I was released early. So when I came home, I wanted to thank them for the opportunity to be home early. Every day counts. And they blessed me. They gave me a job interview, and now I work there. I'm a permanent member of staff at this
Oh, that's fine.
at this law firm called the Center for Appellate Litigation. They only do appeals for Manhattan and Bronx cases, but they have given me an outlet to help people who are incarcerated. I'm part of this program called Books Beyond Bars. I don't know if I'm supposed to give if I'm allowed to give you my number or whatever. But
Yeah, you could.
anybody who's incarcerated, I don't care even if they're from a different. I'm here with you. I know what you go through. I want them to know you're not alone. You need a book, you want reading material, I'll give it to you. I'll send it to you free of charge through this program. Brand new books from Barnes & Noble, wherever it's from. Just give me the name and the author of the book. I'll send it to you.
That's fire.
So because you have to keep your mind open. You can't become in this cycle of you heard every day. Open your mind, read these books, be something. So when you come out, you hit the ground running. So I'm going to give you the number to the law firm. It's called the Center for Appellate Litigation. It's 212-577-2531.
Okay.
They pay for your toll-free. It's a toll-free, like you got to pay. They're paying for the call. Ask for Jose Ramos. Anything you need, a book, I'll send it to you. A magazine, I'll send it to you. You can stay focused. You can stay positive, and don't become like stuck in the mood of what's going on.
Right.
So, and Books Beyond Bars, that's the program that does it. They have been supplying thousands of books throughout the state, and I want to make sure that people take advantage of that. Call, ask me. My name's Jose Ramos, 212-577-2523. I'm going to give you my cell number because I'm here to help. It's not a fraud. I'm not just talking this talk. I walk it. You know I do. 347-575-9645. That's my cell phone. You can call me. I'm here to help. I'm no ulterior motives. I'm here to help. If you got a family member who's in prison and you don't know how to deal with it, let me know. I'll call that facility for them. Because, family members don't know how to deal with the prison system.
That's a whole fact.
A lot of family members think prison's like McDonald's. Well, he's supposed to get this. He's supposed to get, no, he's not. It's not comfortable. They're not going to give you certain rights unless someone calls on your behalf. They're not respecting it. So if your family member's in prison and you don't know how to deal with what's going on, call. I will intervene. I'll tell you the facts. I'll let you know what's really real, what's supposed to happen and what's not. And that's the benefit of being in prison, like you said. We've learned a lot, and now we can help others.
Well, I agree with you 100% on that. Yeah. And like when it comes to like people that support, like in the prison system that I learned, like when it comes to people outside of the prison system that's supporting people inside of the prison system,
right?
It's designed to get those people that's trying to help us a hard time too. I seen it firsthand. I seen a lady come from North Carolina to see a dude with his son. He never seen his son before. He was seeing his son for the first time, and then his son and him had the same birthday. This lady flew that kid from North Carolina to come see the son, and they didn't let that lady in because of the color of her pants or something. When I saw that, bro, I wanted to create a riot right there, bro. I was so hurt for that family, bro, because the lady, you could see, like, this was a big moment for her, bro. And they was willing to ruin that with something that they could have just passed. Yeah. I watched them pass shit that didn't even have that much seriousness to it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Pettiness going on.
It's crazy, bro. Like, I don't even want to get into that because that shit just, that mindset is just so.
Get you riled up, yeah.
Word, yeah. Like, but anyway, so that being said, like, when I look at the ins and outs, I'm not saying that prison is a good thing for anybody, but that experience, it just gets you a good understanding to what's going on. Like, if you got kids, you got a son, you got to look at that place, bro. Because that nigga could end up there. So you got to be on his ass, bro, and let him know, because it's hard to tell a person without experiencing it.
Right.
Sometimes they gotta go in there and see that shit.
Unfortunately, I did, but I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's our
Like-
responsibility to raise our kids or raise our family members to say, this is what's waiting. You don't want that.
Word.
So I feel
A lot of
blessed. I
times,
feel
motherfuckers don't
blessed.
even believe you, bro. They be like, yeah.
I feel blessed that I was able to walk through it like you walked through it, and we could talk about it and help other people.
Right.
I'd be remiss if I didn't spread the word or tell people how to, how serious it is. Not to be able to eat, people messing with your food, telling you when to take a shower, telling you when to wake up, go to sleep, just being disrespectful. It sucked.
Looking in your ass when they get ready to.
Okay.
Stripping you bald ass naked.
All right.
Violating. I mean, I'm not put it all on there,
Keeping it
bro.
real.
They violate.
Keeping
They
it
straight violation.
But
Like-
now I can appreciate everything. Now I can appreciate the walk outside,
Yeah.
right? Now you don't tell me what time to go and come. I go and come as I please. And everybody's striving for that freedom. So when you get it, don't take it for granted.
Facts.
Change the way you were because that's what got you there. Don't repeat the same thing,
Okay.
You've been to that club. You're the DJ. You know the next song. So why would you repeat the same mistakes again? But
All right. Well, before we end this, I do want to know what you got planned for the future. What's the outlook? Where we going with this? I know me and you gonna do some things.
I hope so.
But I know you got some shit you got going on your own.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm right now. I wrote to the governor's office. I'm waiting for a meeting with the governor's office. I want to talk about prison reform with the governor. As I explained in the letter to the governor, like I have a unique perspective. Having been former law enforcement and having been incarcerated, I can tell both sides of the coin. I'm not biased one way or another. I know there needs to be law and order in corrections, but I also know that there's certain limits to what they're doing that's not acceptable, and I can give my perspective on it. So I'm waiting to get a call back from the governor's office about that. I just recently been reaching out to other companies. I have a program at Center for Appellate Litigation called the Warm Welcome Program. So when our clients are being released, I meet them at Port Authority. I take them for lunch. I have them take them home or sign them into parole, whatever, because I want the transition to be as smooth as possible. So anybody, that got the Books Beyond Bars program as well, everything that helps with transition. I'm trying to limit recidivism because you can't expect people to succeed if you don't give them opportunities.
before I forget, I would like to say this because I think this might be a small solution that might work. I think that one of the things that should be considered in the prison system is putting surveillance in, where the prisoners are. There's plenty of surveillance there, where the officers be in back offices, back in the visiting rooms, back where they give you the packages, the food package. I think surveillance should be on some of the officers. I think they should go with the same way they watch these prisoners. They should be watching these officers because at the end of the day, everybody got to be treated fairly and everybody got to be judged. So it should be a fair judgment on what these officers is doing too.
You hit the nail on the, most of the
Straight
drugs
up.
they get in the prison are brought in from the officers.
Right.
Like how much can you?
Not even just that. Like I used to go in the offices. Like, all right, me and my man used to work in it was like like the nurse's office,
Okay.
but it's like an area where the officers hang out. We don't really get to go in there, and it's a bathroom in the nurse's office. We used to clean the bathroom. It was blood in there every night. Every night, somebody got their head busted open in there, and we used to be like, "Yo, they smoked somebody here," and I'm like, "Yo," and it's like these are the areas that are quiet that you don't got surveillance. There's no surveillance in that area.
Right.
You
right.
need surveillance. There ain't no reason why there ain't no surveillance. Why is it no surveillance in that area? There ain't no private area. This is where
Right.
we all walk through, nurses there. This all should be surveillance, bro.
I
It should be
agree.
nowhere where you could pull a prisoner at and pull him in a private room. You should not. It shouldn't be nowhere where you are
Everything, yeah.
off surveillance. Even if it don't got to be in the bathroom, but you should have surveillance in front of the bathroom door. So if he go in clean and come out busted up,
Everything should be
it
transparent.
should be there. You should be able to trace that.
Transparency is important.
Simple as that. That's what I think should be one of the first things on prison reform. That should be addressed.
That's I could
Facts.
relate to that. Yeah, that's true because people are getting assaulted in there and then there's no answers for it, and that's not acceptable.
Killed everything. All right, so what's happening? So listen, we gonna wrap it up. I'm not gonna hold you too much longer.
Cool. I
know
want to thank you for the opportunity to come speak on your podcast. I mean, I'm really appreciative. If there's ever an opportunity to come back, I'd love to. And thank you. You're doing great things. I'm super proud of you, bro. Like, you're doing major things. I hope that we'll continue to link up and do other things together, because I told you, teamwork make the dream work. I always want to network. And I told you that first time I saw you, yo, don't forget me. Call me for any project you're doing. I do the legwork. We can make it happen, because I hustle. I hustle hard. Yeah, I work hard to play hard.
All right. Well, that's it, man. Saydat Entertainment. We're going to wrap it up.
Say that.
We did a lot here. I appreciate you coming by.
I appreciate
And,
you.
this was a good interview, man.
Oh, man,
hopefully
thank
we can
you.
see you back here again one day.
Man, I'm
with
waiting
some
for you to
more
tell me
good
when I
shit.
could come back. I could tell you a million stories. I didn't want to waste your time, though.
All right. We good.
Yeah, God bless.
All right. We done.
All right. Thank you.
Bitch, I'm from New York. You can tell by how I talk, by how I dress, how I walk. Bitch, I'm from New York. Little cocky motherfucker. Whole team ballin' like the Rucker. Bitch, I'm from New York. In the deli like please. Rappy don't, can I